Good morning from Yami BTV YouTube, sending loads of love to you all as usual. Now, we talked this morning about walking out, absconding, escaping from prison and my experiences, my reasoning and the realities about why men and ladies walk out of open D category conditions after coming through the system for many, many years, from high security, high category prisons to the lowest category you can get, which would mean that you wouldn't be too far away from being released back into the big wide world. Now, first things first, obviously, over the last year or so, there has been a high percentage of people walking out, absconding from open conditions. Now, look, it's worth remembering that when you spend years and years in high category prisons, it can come as a culture shock in an open prison with all the freedom, less prison officers about. But these days in those open prisons, there is a lot of gang culture. The chances are that you could bump into men that you've had problems with outside or inside during all those years you've been away. Now, we could list a few things as to why individuals would walk out when they're in a better position than they ever was during serving their sentence. Now, could be that they may have high risk stuff going on with gangs, or like I said, other people they've had problems with, and rather than get involved in the violence in that open prison, they take the drastic course of action is because if you get caught fighting or nicked with mobile phones and things like that, you can be returned to closed conditions. So they could walk out because they'd rather walk the plank before, get out before anything of that nature happens and don't want to risk going back into closed conditions. It could be that they have marital problems outside with their missus, their families, their kids, and they can't deal with it in that prison environment and need to be close to the action. It could be that some men, having been punished and been kept in for years and years and years when they should have been released a long time ago, feel like it is a time to get the system back. It could be that the temptation of freedom is right before their eyes, having not had it for a long, long time. It could be that they might never believe that they are getting back out or in the not too distant future and prefer to take their chances on the outside world. You could also look at it because the feelings of being outside as an escapee with the police and everybody looking for you, the drama, the adrenaline, because when it's happened to me before, you feel you're on your toes all the time. You've got to always look over your shoulder. Some men thrive off that kind of danger element of being at large, so to speak. The only thing is that it probably brings the heat on to anyone that knows you, because the police will be knocking on a few doors. So you would have to know that before you make such a move. That there are many effects from our behaviour that have an impact on people that are close to us outside. Now, the punishment side of things. Now, you don't, for walking out of a DCAT, you won't go to a magistrate. It will be dealt with internally, I believe, which is by the system themselves, which you could lose up to a month, 2 or 3 months. Now, if you escaped from prison, jumped over the wall, flew over, in a helicopter or whatever, you go to outside court. I'm not so sure absconding from an open prison leads you in to a magistrate court. But what we do know is every single day that you are out, you would have to go back and serve anyway. Some men could feel that they've got nothing to lose by taking the chances and getting a little bit of freedom. because when they come back, they're not going to let them out anyway. There's also the possibilities that you could get into more trouble outside, because when you're at risk, and all or nothing really, because you don't really want to go back. You won't go back off your own accord, so you'll do everything in your power to not get caught. Now, that means then if you get any other charges, criminal-wise, your sentence and time in there will be even longer than the time you've served already. So it's a real shaky. I never ever lasted that long on the run because I never had no plans, nowhere to hide. I went immediately back to crime. Just saying though, if people make that decision these days, they might have a place to go to and to hide out. I doubt if it would be in their own areas. I mean, when I'm thinking about this thing that's brought this to my attention, sometimes you can feel hard done by a system that sometimes is grossly unkind to men serving life sentences, IPP sentences, especially when you've gone over your tariff date, the recommended time that you was meant to serve. And it's very hurtful when you have to do double that, triple that, and you take your chances. But then the reasoning behind it all then would be, if you're that close to getting out full time anyway, why take such a drastic measure? Only individuals will know their own circumstances and their reasoning behind it. But it's not, there is always a big reason, especially when you do a long time in jail and you reach the lower end of the category prison system. There must be a serious reason, and probably a genuine reason, as to why you would not want to stay in there and just walk out of there, if you get what I mean. I hope I've broken that down to the best of my ability. I've still got a sore throat, but I will be coming up shortly.